Anime, Liar Liar. Episode 5 begins with Himeji being kidnapped by Noah, who traps them in a game scheduled for the next day. Noah's threat causes panic for Hiroto, as she holds significant influence at Ime and can easily deceive and manipulate people due to her star 6 status. Rina, who visits Hiroto's house, already knows the motive behind Noah's kidnapping of Himeji, leading them into this dangerous game. Unable to advise cheating, Rina can only resign herself to the situation, and Hiroto must rely on Kaguya for help. Just when Hiroto seeks Kaguya's assistance, Kaguya arrives at Hiroto's house stumbling as if drunk. He is confused, thinking he has returned home, but instead, he enters Hiroto's house. Once he realizes the situation, Kaguya informs Hiroto that Himeji has been kidnapped by Noah, which makes him panic. Kaguya is startled to see Rina wearing a hoodie to conceal her identity. Quickly, Kaguya dissects the game that Himeji will use to compete against Hiroto. Being familiar with the game, he attempts to anticipate all the possible moves Himeji might make. As the game involves cards, Kaguya warns about the cards and their values that will likely be used. However, a significant challenge arises due to Himeji's ability to use probability fluctuation LV4, which forces opponents to receive bad card sets while Himeji gains an advantage with good sets. Additionally, her forced control ability prevents the opponent from making any moves for 3 turns, disrupting their momentum from the start and reducing their chances of winning. Hiroto's concern over Himeji's abilities motivates Kaguya to hack the system to ensure Hiroto's victory without exception. But when he can't access Himeji's database, Kaguya panics as he cannot hack into it. However, Rina offers her expertise as a strategist and suggests Kaguya lay out all the card abilities, providing the foundation for Rina to formulate a strategy. Although she may not be as skilled as Himeji, Rina is willing to assist. Since the first 3 turns will be chaotic for Hiroto, Rina looks for an opening where Himeji will initiate an attack early on. By predicting Himeji's moves based on her early game behavior, Hiroto can prepare for the card she might use when her turn comes. Hiroto, who was initially confused by the forced control restriction, which limited his movement until the 4th turn, learned from Rina that Himeji would use the simple extraction card at the beginning of her turn to create a deadly combo against her opponents. This revelation caused Hiroto to panic again, realizing that Himeji would have a 7-card advantage in the first 3 turns, and if he received lower value cards than Himeji, he would almost certainly lose in the 4th turn. However, Rina knew how to turn the tables by utilizing the star 6 ability called Enhancement, with Kaguya's system hacking assistance, as it could be the key to changing the situation. But to fulfill Hiroto's request for Kaguya's help, they needed assistance from their friends monitoring the communication channels, as Kaguya wasn't entirely confident in his abilities if he acted alone. Nonetheless, Kaguya was determined to do his best to support Hiroto and ensure his victory. Hiroto was well aware that Kaguya could be careless but was also a genius, and he trusted Kaguya to do whatever it took to save Himeji. Rina reminded Hiroto not to forget to activate his abilities to prevent any unwanted outcomes. Hiroto also understood that Himeji asked him not to win the game, but he couldn't afford to lose either, as that would make the situation awkward during the game. As Hiroto lay on his bed, pondering his strategy against Himeji, Rina entered his room, looking like she had just finished taking a shower. Since Rina had sneaked into Hiroto's house late at night, she had no choice but to spend the night there and use Hiroto's spare bed, which he had prepared for her. With all the worries, neither Hiroto nor Rina could sleep peacefully. Rina then gave Hiroto a rare ability card to be installed on his smartphone, which she called a charm to help him win the game. The ability was called Pinch Hitter, enabling him to use both officially licensed and unofficial rare abilities. Rina advised him to use it when he found himself in a tight spot. Meanwhile, Noah was panicking, still upset about Hiroto's irritating speech during their encounter. After school, Himeji and Hiroto walked together, with Kaguya communicating through an earphone, informing Hiroto that the program was ready to be activated whenever he wished. Noah appeared, seemingly waiting for them to start the game. Hiroto already knew that Noah would be watching the game, so he prepared a countermeasure to prevent her from acting as she pleased. The game began, following the predicted plan. Himeji started with the abilities she had activated, and everything went as planned. They waited for the right moment to launch a counterattack and execute it flawlessly. Unbeknownst to Hiroto, Himeji rotated her strategy to avoid being predicted by her opponent. This rotation trapped Hiroto from the beginning, locking his movements. Realizing Himeji's strategy rotation, Hiroto abandoned his plan to hack abilities because he understood that Himeji aimed to win with odd cards. Hiroto intentionally provoked Noah's anger, successfully manipulating her emotions. As Noah panicked, Hiroto waited for Himeji's decision on whether to draw a card. If she drew, the game would end in a tie, but if she didn't, Hiroto would suffer a crushing defeat. Himeji, aware that her master had given her a signal to aim for a draw, tried to provoke Noa's emotions, making her impatient due to the seemingly one-sided game turned around intentionally by Himeji. The game ended in a tie, disappointing and infuriating Noa. She attempted to leave the room, but Hiroto, perceiving Noa's displeasure, tried to hold her back and explain his actions. Cleverly, Noa attempted to escape, providing an excuse to get out quickly and hide her true intentions before the game began. Himeji, realizing that her smartphone had been hacked, finally revealed it. Kagaya, who had guided Hiroto, understood that this was a highly illegal act, using illegal abilities that could leak data and record-sensitive information. These dangerous abilities were used to threaten Himeji into losing the game and complying with Noa's wishes. Then, when Hiroto wins the game, the program automatically transfers to Hiroto's device. Thus, with the game ending in a tie and no winner, the program should have been automatically cancelled as the command was to find a winner and a loser. Noa was left powerless as her moves had been predicted by Himeji since the beginning of her abduction. Himeji, being more familiar with hacking, understood the flow Noa would use while waiting for the game to end, with either a winner or loser. The vulnerability of the illegal program was easier to detect compared to Kagaya's hacking with his own system. It was easy to uncover the identity of the perpetrator using the illegal ability. Himeji had also kept a log of the overnight access where Noa performed her actions without erasing any traces. According to Himeji, Noa's ability, display error, would hide her actions, but with the intervention of Headmaster Ikinos, it was clear to see the source of Noa's hacking. Noa became furious as her actions were exposed by Hiroto and Himeji. She found it strange that Hiroto, a new student, easily obtained a star 7 rating. Little did she know that Hiroto's unique red star ability assisted him in the deception, and they believed him. In reality, Hiroto only received colored stars when winning games against students with different unique star abilities. Noa, hating cheaters because she wanted to be special, felt jealous and angry toward Hiroto, trying hard to challenge him. Noa accidentally mentioned the demon, shocking Hiroto, as it seemed he knew the mastermind behind all this. He questioned Noa about it, suspecting someone else was involved. However, Noa, being cunning, had a backup plan in case the game ended and the eavesdropping device was deactivated. She had the destruction desire ability ready, which would destroy all of Himeji's device data, preventing her from continuing her education on the Academy Island. Himeji knew that if Noa used this illegal ability, she would be hated by everyone on the Academy Island. Noa then threatened Hiroto to play a game with her, holding Himeji hostage, and risking their stars. Fed up with everything being exposed, Noa had no choice but to resort to threats. Noa demanded that Hiroto surrender all his stars and kneel before her. Undeterred, Hiroto accepted her challenge and attempted to save Himeji from Noa's clutches. The game they played was Treasure Hunt Table. What would this game entail? Could Hiroto win this game? We'll have to wait and see. This is the end of episode 5. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss part 6 of this series recap.